Well, it is a frigid afternoon on the Frugal Gardener's homestead. Welcome to episode 5. Episode 5 of Gardening Over 40. This is a limited series of which I teach you guys my tips and tricks on how to garden if you're a Gen Zer, if you are a baby boomer, or if you have physical limitations. I'm showing you this mound here because this episode we're going to supersize, meaning uh, we're going to grow things on a larger scale than in the past. If you're familiar with the earlier episodes, what we did was basically showed you how to move things around, how to get things from point A to point B, and we talked a lot about the smaller containers and usages. So this is where we've been. So again, you should be familiar with this if you're familiar with the earlier episodes. If not, I'll put a link in the bottom where you can go and catch up. So I live in a homestead. It's approximately 4.5 acres. I am in my 70s and garden in zone 7A. And that's the reason why I decided to do a series, because I thought there may be other people that may be able to use what information I can throw you guys. So before I get started, I'm going to show you something. Well, sort of kind of show you something. I have two uh, packs of seeds over here, and it's something that you probably have not grown in your garden. And I deliberately have them turned around the other way because during the course of this video, I'm going to reveal them to you, and hopefully you'll plant them in your garden, and they will require a little extra space. So this is the reason why I'm going to show them to you now. This is something that everybody knows. This is going to play an important role in this episode because everything that we grow is going to be a foot or higher. Now, think about it. In the last episode, we said basically anything below 8 inches would not be considered a raised or elevated garden. So in this case, what I decided to do was go everything over a foot. So 12 inches or greater. And there's a reason for that. This way, you're not limited to what you can grow. This is all obviously dormant now, but this meets those requirements. Every single one of these is over a foot tall. And every single one of these I used in the past. And this one over here on the end, I did a video a couple of years ago where I grew potatoes in here. And I'll link that underneath this video so that you can see how easy it was and what my yield was. But the problem is when you're trying to grow things like potatoes or other fruits and vegetables, if the pan is too shallow, then you're going to have the problem. It's not going to work out. Now, this is something that is known as hugelkultur. It's German, if I'm not mistaken, and I am growing red Russian kale in a German hugelkultur mound. So basically, it looks a little wilted now because the weather has been kind of crappy. It's been in the teens for the past couple of nights. So this will bounce back when the weather bounces back. This is clearly well over a foot tall. This is about 2.5, maybe 3 feet tall. So it more than meets the criteria. When you are trying to grow anything that is going to have deep roots, that's the thing that you're going to have to focus on when you're using containers. I'm skipping over this today because, first of all, it's in ground. Second of all, it doesn't meet the criteria in any way, shape, or form. This could, but I'm not using it for that right now because this is exactly a foot. But right now, I'm growing cabbage in here, and as you can see, I don't have it filled up. So that's not what we're going to focus on. So moving along, I want to show you something else that I have been using. Well, I have this closed off, but you can see in here, larger containers. Why am I talking to you in December about growing in large containers? Well, the reason is because it took me years to gather all these containers, and you're not going to get it overnight unless you go out and spend a boatload of money, which I don't recommend that you do. So you pick these guys up along the way, and when the spring comes, you're ready to plant, and you have to basically look and see what the root requirement is or the depth requirement, and that's going to tell you which plant or which planter or container you can use. So outside of these large pots, another way is basically trellises. There are probably hundreds of different types of trellises. This is obviously man-made, something I threw together to grow these peas, which I don't know if they're going to make it or not. This weather keeps up, but basically I just strapped these together. You can see here, I put them in the pot, and you just grow up. So again, we're going above anything that is above 12 inches, anything that is above a foot is what we're focused on, and you can see it works out pretty well. So we have the mound, we have the trellis, and we have the large pots. This is an example of what I'm talking about. This was Jamaican sorrel, but it's died off because the season's over. This was a Gatorade container given to me by my old neighbor now, Miss Nancy, and I just gave it a fresh coat of paint. Clearly, this is over a foot tall, but you have to be careful what you plant in here because it's not very wide, so you aren't going to have a whole lot of soil. So again, I picked these things up along the way. I think that you should just get what you can and hold on to them until you need them. I mean, one of the beauties of being able to garden in containers is you can put those containers where you want them. And in my case, I want them facing south so I can get sun all day. I told you earlier that I was going to reveal to you what I would suggest that you grow. And this is the first one. These are small seeds. I'm trying to give you a good look at them, but in case you're wondering, they're salmon berries. So they look a little bit like strawberries, but they're salmon berries, and you'll see them a lot up north. So something you might want to give a try to growing. I'm not going to attempt to grow those it's December, so it doesn't make sense for me to try to grow these at this point, but maybe in the spring. But we're not done. There are several people who have commented to me since I've been out here about these troughs. And everybody wants to know why I don't fill them and use them to grow things. And the reason is because I use them for water. And I need that water because we had a 25-year drought. This one is 3/4 of the way full. This one is practically completely full. Somewhere on here, it'll tell you how many gallons. 170 gallons. Now, if you do decide to get something this size and you do decide to use it to grow something, there are plenty of things that you can grow in here because of the size. You can actually grow dwarf trees in a lot of these containers. So this is the last one I'm going to show you because I'm going to try to inspire you a little bit. If you decide that you want to grow trees, yes, trees, a lot of people are going to say, you can't grow trees in these containers, but you can. You can grow dwarf trees in these containers. As a matter of fact, I put together a list and I'm going to give it to you now. So, dwarf, plum, apple, banana, orange, fig trees, pears, olives, cherries, lemon, tangerine, almond, and also coffee plants can all be grown in containers. So I think that's something that you ought to take into consideration. Now, once you fill these up with soil, you are probably going to not want to move them again. So be careful when you make your choice of where you want to put these things. So finally, the second surprise seed that I'm going to show you guys is goji berries. Goji berries are very healthy, and I'm not going to give you guys a whole rundown today of the benefits of these berries, but this is something that I think it's time to get away from the boring, the just normal, ordinary, regular cucumbers, tomatoes, squash. This is something that will bring some excitement to your garden. That is about it. So basically, this is our supersized episode because everything is bigger and you'll be able to grow a lot more than what you originally thought you would be able to grow because you're going to have larger containers. If you have not yet gotten your folding chair or bench or cart or somewhere to some way to haul your things around, then that's going to be your first step. And then the smaller containers will follow. And then, last but not least, you'll go ahead and get your larger containers. The frugal son-in-law built this frugal culture mound for me. Before I go, I just wanted to say to you, this is not all soil. The way this is built is from leaves and branches and mulch and whatever organic material you can find around the property, and then we put soil on top. So once this red Russian kale gets tall enough and I harvest it, I'll probably let this rest until the spring. So that's it for you guys. I appreciate you watching. For fun, if you would like, put down in the comments where you garden and what zone or which country or how old you are, whatever you feel like putting down in the comments. It will be appreciated. I hope you guys subscribe and come back next week for episode 6 in the series. I'm the Frugal Gardener. And remember, when you grow your own food, you'll always know where it comes from. I'll catch you guys in a week. Have a good one.